Okay, welcome everybody. We're going to be talking right now about perhaps the most important aspect of this program. As you've already understood and gathered, this program is a fat loss program, not a weight loss program. So again, you can be losing weight, and there's plenty of programs out there that will cause transient weight loss. But that weight may or may not be fat, and oftentimes it is water or muscle, making your metabolism less efficient in the end. And this is the primary thing that causes weight loss resistance or fat loss resistance as we age. So what I want to do is I want to go over how to structure this program. How do you know how to develop your unique female fat loss formula? How do you find it? So here's the thing. I'm going to walk you through exactly the way you need to begin thinking about food, measuring your biofeedback tools, which I'm going to get to in a minute, and measuring results in terms of your fat loss. So, one of the things you want to understand is that there are two primary ways and things that you're going to be paying attention to figure out your formula. The first is your biofeedback tools. Those are primarily, the important ones are how hungry you feel from meal to meal. What are your cravings from day to day? How many cravings are you having, and what kind of foods are you craving? And then what are your energy levels like? Are they stable? Are they high and then crash? Are they continuously low? That's what you want to be thinking about first, because hunger, energy, and cravings, what we call HEC, determine and are a window for you to understand what is going on with your hormones, because the hormones that we're talking about, insulin, estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, cortisol, ghrelin, leptin, all these hormones that impact our metabolism directly impact hunger, energy, and cravings. When your hormonal metabolism is balanced, you will have no hunger between meals, you will have no cravings, and your energy will feel balanced constantly. So the goal is always to have hunger, energy, and cravings balanced. Very different than most diet plans, right? Because most diet plans, you're constantly fighting your hunger. You're always feeling ups and downs in energy, and you're always getting cravings. And it's really a battle of will against your physiology. You cannot win a battle of wills against your physiology. Therefore, the goal is always to create balance in hunger, energy, and cravings so you don't feel like you're dieting, so you can make this a lifestyle. So the first thing you need to understand is hunger, energy, and cravings, and you want to ask yourself, are those three things balanced or are they not balanced? And by the way, if one of them is out of balance, you should consider them all out of balance. So I have here hunger, energy, and cravings. It's either good, they're balanced, or one of them is out of balance. So you note that. You don't necessarily need to write this down. You are going to know day to day how your hunger, energy, and cravings are doing. Make a note of it and realize that if they're out of balance, you need to do something to correct it. Now, one time per week, you are going to be weighing and measuring yourself. This can be done on a Tanita scale, body composition analysis machine that you step on. This can be done on the tracking sheet that you're given with this particular program. It also can be done for women by measuring both the bust and the hips primarily. The reason why those two areas are important is because despite what your weight is doing, if you are losing fat, it's going to be coming off the waist primarily and the bust, because that is not as impacted by muscle as maybe the lower body would be. So those are good indications. Probably the best one and the easiest one for this program is the tracking sheet, because it takes into account weight and multiple circumference measurements. So what we do is we first ask ourselves once per week when we do this, and by the way, when you weigh yourself and you measure yourself once per week, you should do it under the same conditions. For the purposes of this particular program, you really want to do it first thing in the morning on a Friday morning when you wake up before eating or drinking anything. That is the best time. Why is that the best time? Because that is the time when you are least impacted by a long weekend of binging or drinking or having reward meals or cheat meals. And most people have been dieting throughout the week are staying on their program throughout the week and let loose on the weekend. So you're going to probably have one of your best measurements first thing in the morning, Friday morning, and you want to make it consistent, always under the same conditions. So now you've got your measurement, right? You will know based on that measurement on Friday morning, did you lose fat, did you gain fat, or did you lose weight? So you might say, well, what's the difference? Did I lose weight? If you lost weight but you did not lose fat, that essentially means you've either lost a ton of water, which could be a good thing, or you've lost muscle, which is not a good thing. So now we have two things that we're looking at. We're looking at hunger, energy, and cravings. Are they balanced or are they not? And we're looking at your results in terms of your measurement once per week. And then we begin to adjust. So let's go through the different scenarios. Let's say that over here I have it all written out for you, and you have a sheet just below this video that you can download, and we'll go through this. It's called the Metabolic Formula sheet. Hunger, energy, and cravings, let's say it's balanced, right? So I put a check mark there. And let's say that you have gotten fat loss. When you do your Friday morning measurement, you see, wow, from week 1, my initial measurement, I've actually lost fat. If that is the case, this little star right here means you do nothing. You do nothing. You found your female fat loss formula. It is working. The plan is doing exactly what you want. And guess what? Hunger and energy and cravings are balanced. Therefore, it is also sustainable. Don't do anything different. A lot of people will see this and they will want to go further. They will want to cut carbs further or cut fat or do extra exercise. The problem is if you try to go extra and speed things up, you may take yourself right out of this zone and see hunger and energy and cravings pick up. So if your hunger, energy, and cravings are balanced and you've lost fat, stay there, do nothing, continue with the plan. You're doing fantastic. That's where we want you to be. Now, what if hunger, energy, and cravings are balanced, but you have lost weight, not fat, or there's no change? In other words, if you've lost weight, that means you either lost water and or muscle, and if there's no change, that means there's no difference here. So what do you do here? Well, hunger, energy, and cravings are balanced. And so one of the best things to do for hunger, energy, and cravings if they're out of balance is to add protein and fat. And you don't really want to mess around with carbs too much at that point in time, because if you do, it can cause hunger, energy, and cravings to be out of balance. So in this particular case, what you're going to do is you're going to lower carbs, or perhaps even increase carbs if you've already lowered carbs enough. And at the same time, continue to focus on protein and fiber, because protein and fiber will stabilize hunger, energy, and cravings. This is what we call manipulating the carbohydrate tipping point. It is possible to go too low in carbohydrates, and that's something we'll talk about throughout this program. So in this particular case, your first step is to lower carbs, unless you've lowered them so much or you're not eating them at all, in which case you might raise the carbohydrates and continue to eat protein and fiber, and then you measure again next week. The reason you can cut carbs a little further here is because hunger, energy, and cravings are balanced. Now, let's say hunger, energy, and cravings are balanced, but you have gained fat. What then? Well, here, first of all, you have to ask yourself, have I been compliant? Did I actually do the program? Am I able to stay on it? Am I in a place where I'm actually doing what I need to do? If you're not, then you know you need to make the changes necessary to get yourself to that point. If you are, and you have gained a little bit of fat, then what you want to do is cut carbs. Cut carbs primarily at this point. You want to decrease your carbohydrate intake. Why can you decrease carbohydrate intake? Because hunger, energy, and cravings are balanced. That's why you can go ahead and cut carbs further. Cut them down and you'll begin to see results a little bit. Now let's go on the other side. What if hunger and energy and cravings are not balanced? In other words, they're out of balance. You're either getting hungry, you're getting cravings, and or you're having lows in energy. This is really important because this is what makes this program sustainable. You always want to work to correct hunger, energy, and cravings. So let's go through the scenarios. Hunger, energy, and cravings out of balance, but you've lost fat. What do? Well, in this case, this is a good result, right? You've lost fat, but we know it's not sustainable. So what is the best way to decrease hunger from meal to meal, stabilize cravings, right, and balance energy? Increasing protein and fiber is the place to go there. So what you do is you raise the protein and fiber level. That will shut down hunger, energy, and cravings and get you back into this zone. So it's a good result, but it's not a sustainable result. What happens if hunger and energy and cravings are out of balance and you've lost weight or there's no change? So you've lost some weight, but it's perhaps muscle. The first thing you do here is the same thing you did before. Remember, anytime hunger, energy, and cravings are out of balance, you first want to think about raising protein and fiber because they will help with that. But the next thing you want to do here is you want to, again, look at the carbohydrate tipping point. Are you eating too few carbohydrates that are causing you to lose muscle? Or are you eating too many carbohydrates? So again, you begin to manipulate that a little bit. And usually in this case, it's going to be either or. And again, this is one of the most important concepts that we'll repeat over and over again in this program. The carbohydrate tipping point is key for female fat loss. Now, the third scenario, what happens if your hunger, energy, and cravings are out of balance and you've gained fat? In this case, what you want to do is you want to decrease carbs again. You also want to look at your fat intake. Are you just simply subtracting out the carbs and eating too much fat? And are you getting enough protein and fiber? So this is the scenario. Obviously, you can watch this video over and over again to kind of get the scenario. And there's a sheet that goes along with this. But this whole story right here, you're going to be interacting with constantly throughout this 8 weeks. And hopefully this will become your new religion in terms of how you master the female fat loss formula, how you find the formula that is specific for you, because it's going to be 100% different. So please watch this video as many times as you need to and get a handle on how to adjust based on hunger, energy, and cravings and what your weekly measurements are. That's going to be key for you moving forward.